All righty. Hey, Sean, I'm looking at your chat real quick here. I see that you're mentioning you're a beginner, but you do read music. Let me think about that. Feel free to shoot me a message at harmonica123.com and we can continue that conversation. You can reach me through the contact page. In the video today, I want to take a minute to let you know that I'm offering up a class called Front Porch Blues Harp this coming Saturday. And so I thought I'd give away a little bit of information today and kind of give you guys some idea of what I'll be teaching, what to expect, but also sort of, give you a couple things to think about in case you can't make it or you're just wondering how to do something like that. What is it, first of all? Front Porch Blues. What do I mean by Front Porch Blues? Before I say that, I'll mention this. This is a webinar. So you'll join online through a link. I sometimes do them through a private link here in YouTube, but I think I'm going to use a new platform that works very well, very easily, that you can just join and basically you're watching me live like this and you've got access to a Q&A sort of section. You can throw your questions in as they pop into your head. And then towards the middle and end of the teaching day, I go in and sort of grab questions that are coming that I missed or whatever. So here's what you can expect though. As far as what I mean by Front Porch Blues Harp, I mean the following. I mean everything outside of playing songs and melodies, like in the world of improvisation and thinking about what you can do that's partially improvised and partially sort of these things that you practice, these, let's call them templates that you practice. So in the class, I'm gonna break it down into 3 sections, and in the class we'll work individual templates in the following categories, which I'm about to mention, and then I'm going to slowly show you how to bring those together. The templates are chords and rhythms, bass lines, and riffs. So it's fun to just pick up a harp and be able to jam, but if you're not following some sort of structure, and in this case the structure is the format, the 12-bar blues. If you do that, then you have something that you can always follow these chord changes. So step 1 in this whole process of Front Porch Blues Harp, what I want to teach is get the 12-bar in your brain. If you're watching this and you don't have that 12-bar structure really nailed down, I mean, to the point where you've got it memorized. Now, here's something that you might want to think about. There's a million ways to outline a 12-bar blues. It can be done in the format of just riffs, just bass lines, just chords, just single notes for chords. You can make it as basic as you want. So one of the things we're going to do on this coming Saturday is I'm going to show you from a beginner's perspective how a beginner would take it, so that there's at least something for beginners to chew on. And then I'm going to build that and slowly show you how you can develop this style. What does it sound like? I've been yapping too much. I may have screwed up actually in the middle. Here's the point. You've got to be able to follow the structure. So one way, I'll give you tips. So in case you can't make it to this class and you're thinking, how do you put all that together? That is the hardest part. Learning them individually is enough of a challenge on its own. Like, how do I do these types of... And then how do you do these bass lines? See how you can start to blend things. So this, I guess the way I see this class is it's a way for you to get more enjoyment out of that solo playing. When you just want to sit down, Doug is asking, is the price reduced today? Today on the Facebook, if you follow me on Facebook, I offered a deal. It was like $3 off. And that sale has ended. So the class is $20 to get in. Maybe I'll update this post right here and put a little coupon code in the video description for 24 hours. If you think you're going to attend it, know that you don't have to be there live. It is recorded, so you can go back and just watch it, whenever. It doesn't have to be like you have to be there to catch it live. It'll be available as a recording indefinitely. So let me try to come up with a couple other examples of things that I'm working on. So far in the stage of preparing for the class, I've been recording multiple examples of things that come out of me naturally. And then what I'm going to do is try to break these down so that I can provide at least some level of tablature, little simple harmonica tabs that you can see. Here's what I'm doing in this template. Here's what I'm doing in this template. And then you get to blend them all together. So Doug, I'll just check the video description here when this video posts, give it like 10 or 15 minutes. Maybe I can throw a bone out to my YouTube community because they didn't really get that deal. So I suppose I could do that. My only fear is that somebody that paid full price is watching this video right now going, what about me? All right, here we go. Keep in mind the style of blues that you play can dictate this. So I think what you're going to find in this class is that I'm going to try to keep the ideas a little simpler. And then if you're a more advanced player, when you go to throw in these riffs, you can put in a more advanced riff. The hardest part about doing this, I'll give you a quick tip. The hardest part about just emoting 12 bars without thought is that, well, first of all, you've got to have a lot of ideas in your mind first that you can just go to and just pull from. But I think the hardest part is the exit and entrance point of the chord changes. Let me say that again. Like if you're playing a 1-4-5 and you're jamming something on the 1, right there, I'm about to head to the 4 chord and sort of like naturally being able to go to an idea that is beautiful on the 4 chord. There's a million things I could do. I could play a riff that outlines that 4 chord right, or I could use octaves. But the key is like, how do you get good at that? I'm going to talk a little bit more about those strategies in this class. And really at the end of the day, you've got to practice. You've got to have this 12 bar just solid. So if you're a beginner, let's put it this way. If you're a beginner, learn one simple way to represent 12 bar blues. Maybe just like super simple. Just on the, 1, 2, 3 draw chord and blow chord. And then maybe just choose like a hold note, like 4 blow on the 4 chord. This is not anything new or uncommon, but it's a way for beginner to sort of grasp the 12 bar blues. So backing up from there would be, if you don't understand what that means, you need to look at a chart and see that there's a 1 chord typically in a 12 bar blues that comes up 4 times. The 4 chord comes up twice, then a 1 chord twice, then a 5 and a 4 and a 1-1. Those are the chords, 1, 4, and 5. And sometimes that doesn't mean anything, right? To a beginner, they're like, what's the Roman numeral mean? they're just holding a position for a chord. So once you determine the key of the song, then we know how to plug in. It's like math. And then you know how to plug in. If the song's an E, the one chord's an E chord, the four chord's an A chord, and then you've got an E, a B, sorry. Yes, on my EAB. So you'd go, that's E. Four chord. And then the one drop. So you could just take the root notes of the chords. But that's not anything, I think for a lot of people, we're past that. But if you're not past that, you need to simplify the process. So if you like this idea of like being able to play solo harp in the style of this improvised feeling fashion, but yet using the structure of 12-bar blues and learning various ways that you can do that, that's what this class is about. The way I see my channel is I want to come onto this channel and do live feeds, and I want to do post videos because it makes me happy to be able to share these things. The classes allow me to survive. They allow me to pay my bills. I'm teaching private lessons, but these classes really help me out. And if you think that if you've never been able to afford private instruction, jump on this. It's $20, and you'll be able to work with what you get out of this for months. Because it's not just about attending the class, it's about going back and working one version and one template, as I said. So I'm going to do something totally different now. There's a million ways. That's what's so cool about this. Once you get all the templates in a row, again, for chords and bass lines and riffs, you're not stuck playing it one way. You can just start playing a riff. That's what I think about this stuff. And I think I'll throw in there a one chord approach too. I think a couple ideas of how you would approach just when there's no chord changes. Somebody's just vamp. They call it just vamping. You're just jamming on like a one chord thing. That's when it gets interesting, because I think a lot of people feel like they're out of ideas quickly. It should be the opposite. Think about this. If you're playing on a one chord, and you're like, how do you come up with all these ideas? It's not changing chords. So the one chord, the one chord is like wide open. There's so many things that you can play, because all these great ideas that lay out on a one chord are also coincidentally great ideas on a four chord. You just may not be thinking about it. I didn't say that all the ideas on a four chord are great for a one chord, but everything you play in a 12-bar blues on a one chord works on a four chord. I'd love to hear ideas of things that don't work, because I'm finding that everything works. Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking out this live stream. Hey, Doug, thanks for checking out the course. It's going to be a blast, because I can tell you this, I'm going to put a lot of time into preparing for this class. I'm not going to do my typical throw it together sort of like organic approach. I'm going to have some of that, of course, but I want this to be like really well thought out. I want to like basically take everything I'm doing and what's the word when you roll it back and dissect it backwards? You start with the end product and you sort of work backwards towards simplifying it. I think that's going to be the best way for people to get the most out of this kind of class, is like, here's a tiny little section. Right on, Mike. That's Saturday. I'll put it in the video description. You'll see a link to that. these things I've been playing in the beginning are introductions to the song. So that means that I'm beginning on bar 9 and playing bar 9, 10, 11, and 12 of a 12-bar blues to introduce that 12-bar. So you're playing chords 5, 4, 1, and 1. Or at the end, it could be 1, 5. Hey, what's going on? What is the newest course? We're talking about the Front Porch Blues Harp class this coming Saturday. That's going to be a class, not really a course, but a class. So I might give you a couple ideas for how to introduce songs as well, because that goes along with this playing solo, no other accompaniment. And think about, and last thought, but think about like templates as regarding like all your favorite blues musicians that you've listened to on the harmonica, like Big Walter Horton, Sonny Boy Williamson II, James Cotton. They all have signature sort of ways that they outline 12-bar blues. So my final tip is these are the answers. They if you want to know how to put it together organically, it starts by obviously imitating others, the people that have written the book of blues harmonica. And that's the Little Walters and the Big Walters and all that, because they had these crazy lines that, not crazy, they had these very logical lines that were just like, and all he's doing is outlining 12-bar blues with these nice little phrases. Your network is slow. Sorry, buddy. All right. Any other questions? Did I miss anything? Congratulations to making it to a live stream. Skrilla88. I'm happy to put on a little bit of a coupon. I'll put a thing in the description that'll allow you. Just give me like 10 more minutes when I end this video. Just join me. Join me Saturday. I think you're going to find that this is going to be worth the spend and worth your time. And if you find that you're a total beginner, I'm going to have something a little bit in the beginning for total beginners, but having some knowledge of bending will absolutely help you a lot. But really, it's strategic. It's conceptual as much as it is technical in the class. I want you to see the method that I use. I want you to see how I'm doing it. The how will be more of the technical, and the method is the concept. So we'll be talking about these templates. Again, just to recap here, chords, bass lines, riffs, and even sometimes just a note. Here, I'll leave you with this. This just popped into my head. 12-bar blues. Again, there's a million ways we can do this. All right, cool guys. Thanks for hanging out today. I know this wasn't exactly a traditional like teaching video. I just want to talk about this class and get it out there. And I think a lot of people that were curious about it had no idea what the hell I meant by Front Porch Blues Harp. So that's what I mean. You're sitting on a front porch. What do you play besides Oh Susanna and maybe other melodies and songs? You do this kind of stuff. And I promise you it's much more fun when you can do it in this fashion, because it's not totally off the rails. What's the word? I really want to pin this down before I get off today. By using the structure of 12 bars or any structure, 8-bar blues, 1 chord, whatever it is, 16 bar, I don't care what it is. But by using some of that structure, you are setting yourself up to be free within that structure. Versus if you had no structure, you kind of get lost. You just don't know really where you're headed or what's happening at all. But so that what we're doing is we're saying, here's the structure, you got to live in it, but there's a million ways you can live inside of the structure. And I think for me, that's what I'm trying to say to you guys, is that I don't think everyone realizes there's a million ways to emote this fashion, and it's a blast. This is, to me, the most enjoyable thing. This is the thing I do every day. You know, more than practicing melodies, I am working on my ability to totally improvise, but in different ways within the same structure. All right. Thank you guys for considering the class. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Any questions? Does anybody want to ask me anything random? It's all 3 to 4 bars and repeat. Yeah, Sean, and that's the thing about it. I'm not sure if I totally get that. Oh, you're asking, is it all like 3 times on 4 bars and repeat? The structure will remain the same as we work on templates. The templates will be swapped and subbed and rotated in different ways within that 12 bar. This class is a one-off, so it's this Saturday. It's a live webinar, but it is recorded. Hey, thanks, Sean. You're the first person to ever send me a donation. No one's ever done that. Thanks, buddy. So I would say to you that if you can't make it live, and like, I do have other 145 lessons. If you can't make this one live, it might be worth checking out the recording. It might be worth you just purchasing access to it and then watching it later if you can't make it. It's at 12 p.m. Central on this coming Saturday, the 16th. So Chromatic is totally an option. I think you're asking, in this fashion, is Chromatic an option? Yes, absolutely. So is a chord or a bass harmonica? No, I rarely sleep. That's the truth. That's why I look like hell half the time coming on these videos. So you could take a Chromatic and work out the same exact thing. I don't have a Chromatic in front of me right now. I just put my whole other case downstairs. I have a gig tonight. So you could work on this fashion in, again, you're trying to you're taking stock of everything that you do. You know what the number one question is that people ask me when they come to me for lessons? It's not how to bend a note. It's not how to play this song. It's how to put all this stuff together. That's the number one question why people take lessons with me. And a lot of these people that show up for the lessons are skilled players. They just aren't musical. And this is, I think, the biggest problem for specifically harmonica players, because it is so accessible. And I'm not picking on you if this is you, but it's so accessible. It can be very affordable to buy, an inexpensive harmonica. How do you donate like he did? There's a money sign at the bottom underneath the chat next to the smiley face, at least on my end. And I guess that's it. I don't know. Show support for Ronnie. That must be it. A little dollar sign below where you type in your message. So like, these people are so stacked with skill, and it's not showing up on yours. I don't know. Maybe you can ask Sean where he found it. But like, that's the ultimate. If you have all that skill, there's nothing more frustrating than not being able to put it together musically. So that ultimately is part of what we'll do on Saturday. Take all these moving parts and let's make something super musical out of them. I'm very motivated to get this one right, guys, because it's me and not another teacher that I've been featuring so many other teachers on these broadcasts that it's wonderful. That means I get to introduce like my audience and my friends and my followers to these guys who are just also an inspiration to me, which is amazing. But when I go to teach a class, I want this to be buttoned down. I really want you to feel like even Ronnie's sort of, fly by the seat of his pants approach, he reined it in. I want you to feel that you're going to take home something to work on that you can follow when it's done and you're not watching the video too. So I will try to type out one or two sheets of tabs that are the most important templates with regards, and I might even throw in a download lesson. Look out for that. If you don't follow me on Facebook, follow me there, please. Narrow the bridge between diatonic and harmonica. Well, yeah, I think that's not always easy. Sean, all I can tell you is just make one thing sound good. You know what's going to make all the stuff I did today sound good is just your focus on your timing. So maybe we could do some jamming real quick before I go today. Um, hey, thanks, Jerry. If you just went on a chord, draw, draw, blow, blow. And understood where you were in relationship to 12-bar blues, which is the one chord. And then you landed on a 4 blow, that's a good exercise for a total beginner, because at least you're feeling out just good timing and rhythm, and you're learning how to land on an appropriate note choice for the next chord. The key is, once you've learned one way to move it, learn it well, and then learn a secondary way to approach that, which is to say, instead of just the 4 blow, what could another good note choice be? And in this case, we could have used 3 draw, bent. So did you see all I did there was go to a 3 draw half step and back to the chord. And that's the entire 4 chord. But if you just make it simple, you can work on the musicality of everything, the timing of it, the accuracy of landing on like a note appropriately versus kind of like halfway hitting it and maybe blurring in another note. These are the problems that a beginner and even a beginner intermediate is having, because they're so anxious to say something musically that they don't realize they're already doing something very musical just by sitting right there. One of the things I'm going to teach, I don't want to give away everything, but I'm not really giving away much of anything, I suppose, but I'm giving you the ideas behind the concept, is I'm going to show beginners how to take just single notes and play them super rhythmically in the form of 12 bar, I should say, so that no matter what you're playing, you know that these note choices are always going to be really solid note choices you can adjust to various styles. That's one thing that beginners are going to get out of it. They're also going to get the basics of some simple chording that they can use to blend in with these ideas of the single note. All right, last thing, and then I'm out of here, I think. Ooh. I don't have that ready to go, Dwayne. Right on. Yeah, the single notes are extremely important. If you don't have single notes down, just live there for a while. Yeah, I'll look into that Williamson, Sonny Boy Williamson 99 solo. I love the song. I do have a G harmonica. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm really under the weather. The last 24 hours, I've had like a stomach flu. I don't know what's going on. You hear that little phrase? That was a warble mixed with a single note little idea mixed with chords. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. So steal that and make that a one chord sort of, don't move anywhere, just play that over and over. Here's another one I'm going to be going through. You see how you can hear the 12 bars coming out, and that's what matters. What fast rhythm are you referring to, Dwayne? So in the webinar, there is a very good chance that I will be sharing. You'll get some tabs for sure regardless, which is to say that you'll either receive them ahead of time and you can print them out, like you'll get a PDF of what I'm going to use. That's if I were to do this style with YouTube that doesn't allow for PowerPoints and all that. But I'm actually, I'm scoping out a new system now, and it's really working very well, and it's very easy to use. So I think I'm going to use that, which will allow for PowerPoints. I just don't want to get hung up with everybody reading PowerPoints while they're trying these fun ideas. I want you to I want to be able to call some stuff out and say, let's just play this little part together. Let's get this going. And I think that's the advantage of doing the class with its mixed, where we do some really structured, let's follow the tab and get this down. And then let's do something where we're just jamming for a minute. The jamming part of it is still somewhat structured, but it's to say that you don't need tabs to know what this is. For example, the chord on 1, 2, and 3 in and out. Yeah, the chromatic. You can bend microtones on a chromatic, and they probably make funky ones that you can bend notes on, like Frankenstein type of chromatics from like Brendan Powers. He builds harmonicas. He builds harmonicas that are just like unlike anything you've ever seen. Another thing, last thing, I keep saying this, I'm the king of last. I'd also want to go over slow blues. I want to talk about the disconnect and why it's so hard to improvise this front porch style in a slow blues. And I think that what it comes down to is you've got to be so familiar with the structure that when you're not playing, you don't lose time and don't lose your place. So you're hearing it even though you're not playing. You know how you can just play a note, wait for it, feel the space. Hopefully the idea is that you're not counting the entire time. But I think it's okay if subconsciously there is that sort of a ticker going so that you're in that pocket and aware of where you are in that 12 bar. So if you want to prep for this class and you're feeling like you're more on the beginner side, study the 12 bar blues chart. Just take a look at it carefully and try to play the most basic outline of a 12 bar blues with 2 draw as your 1 chord, 4 blow, and we won't do a whole bunch of this in the class. 4 blow is your 4 chord, and 4 draw, let's say, is your 5 chord. Just, you can either hold the notes or play them once. 2, 3, 4, 2. So you have options there. You can hold it. Hold it a little longer, but the key is you're figuring out the structure. Do not... Sean, I'm really sorry to hear your mustache is coming out. Try a Hohner Rocket. They don't pull mustache hairs. The way that a rocket is built. Here's a rocket low. Just to compare it to like, see how like on a marine band these come up, the reed plate. Well, the cover, the comb comes up above, so there's nothing to pull it. Rockets are like this too. A rocket amp harmonica by Hohner. I love the Special 20, but you can rip out your mustache hairs. I used to have a big goatee, Fu Manchu, back in the day. It was like down to here. This would have been in my mid or late 20s. And yeah, you pull out all sorts of hairs on your harmonica. So I hope you guys will consider joining me. Thanks for hanging out today. I'll be back tomorrow with something. I don't know what yet, but I will have a video up tomorrow. I think I've already recorded a handful of videos. I just need to decide which one to put up. Let me see if there's anything else I want to do. Yeah, that's all I got for today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Have a wonderful Sunday. I'm going to go try to rest before this gig, and I'll see you soon. Ciao.